Ladies and gentlemen, coin hunters, treasure seekers, and every single person watching this video right now, hold your breath, because what you are about to hear could change the value of the spare change sitting in your pocket at this very moment. Today, I'm revealing the top 4 most valuable Montolo Jefferson nickel rare coins. The coins hiding in everyday circulation like silent shadows. The coins most people walk past without ever knowing they're holding a secret fortune. A pocket-sized treasure chest, a doorway. Straight into life-changing wealth. These aren't just coins. These are whispers of American history carrying mysteries, minting errors, and untold rarity that the world is just beginning to uncover. And here's the twist. The coins you're about to see are not locked inside museums, not sealed in vaults, not protected behind bulletproof glass. They could be sitting in your house, hiding in your drawers, or quietly waiting inside your wallet right now. Collectors, investors, treasure hunters. Stay exactly where you are, because some of these coins have exploded in today's auction market with prices so massive, so earth-shaking that a single coin has turned ordinary people into overnight owners of hidden wealth worth more than some people even earn in a lifetime. And yes, every one of these coins is still out there, still circulating, still waiting to be discovered by someone just like you. So tighten your seat belt, prepare your senses, because today's journey through the top 4 most valuable. Coin number 1. The 1943p silver Jefferson nickel, the wartime coin that could be worth far more than 5 cents. Imagine reaching into an old coin jar and pulling out a dull gray nickel that doesn't look particularly special. It's scratched, slightly worn, and has probably been ignored for decades. Most people would spend it without a second thought. But what if that ordinary-looking coin wasn't ordinary at all? What if it was struck during one of the most dramatic periods in American history, when World War II changed not only the world, but even the metal used to make US coins? And what if that small 5-cent piece contained hidden details that collectors eagerly search for today? But here's where things get interesting. Not every 1943 Jefferson nickel is the same. Some display remarkable mint errors, while others survived in extraordinary condition, making them highly desirable collector pieces. What happened next shocked collectors, as exceptional examples began selling for hundreds and even thousands of dollars at major auctions. This tiny detail could change everything. Before you dismiss another old nickel, stay with me until the end, because the value of the right 1943p silver Jefferson nickel may leave you speechless. The 1943p Jefferson nickel is one of the most historically significant 5-cent coins ever produced by the United States Mint. Unlike ordinary Jefferson nickels, this coin belongs to the famous War Nickel series. During World War II, nickel metal was desperately needed for military equipment. To conserve this strategic metal, the U.S. Mint changed the composition of the 5-cent coin from late 1942 through 1945. Instead of its normal copper-nickel alloy, the wartime nickel was struck using an alloy of 56% copper, 35% silver, and 9% manganese. This makes the 1943p coin one of the few regular U.S. circulating nickels that actually contains silver. The coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and for the first time in history, Philadelphia placed a large mint mark on a circulating U.S. coin. Most people never notice this, but the large P mint mark is located above Monticello on the reverse, not beside the date, as on many other coins. That oversized mint mark instantly identifies the coin as a wartime silver issue. The obverse features Felix Schlag's portrait of President Thomas Jefferson facing left, surrounded by the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 1943. On the reverse is Jefferson's famous home, Monticello, with EPLUOBUSUNUM above, the large P mint mark directly over the building, and 5 cents and United States of America below. The wartime mint mark remains one of the easiest diagnostics collectors use to identify these special coins. But here's where things get interesting. The 1943p War nickel weighs 5 grams and measures 21.2 millimeters in diameter. Because of its silver content, many examples tone beautifully over time, displaying shades of gold, blue, violet, green, and gray. Collectors often pay premiums for attractive natural toning, especially when the underlying luster remains undisturbed. Although more than 271 million 1943 p nickels were struck, finding truly outstanding examples is far more difficult than the production figures suggest. Most entered circulation immediately and experienced heavy wear during the war years. As a result, sharply struck, fully lustrous examples in gem mint state condition are much scarcer today. Collectors also search intensely for genuine mint errors. Some of the most desirable include off-center strikes, clipped planchets, broad strikes, struck-through errors, die cracks, retained cuds, and dramatic lamination errors. Several repunched mint mark varieties are also known, along with doubled dies that show noticeable doubling on parts of the lettering or design. While these varieties are not common, authenticated examples can command strong premiums depending on their severity and condition. This tiny detail could change everything. One of the most important features specialists examine is the strike quality. Jefferson's hair above the ear and the steps of Monticello often show weakness on lower quality strikes. Coins with exceptionally sharp details are much more desirable, especially when certified by a professional grading service. Auction history proves just how much condition matters. A circulated 1943 p war nickel is generally worth more than face value because of its silver content. Nice circulated examples often sell for a few dollars, while attractive uncirculated coins commonly bring several dollars to several dozen dollars, depending on grade. Certified gem examples can sell for several $100s, and superb registry quality coins graded at the very highest levels have realized well over $1,000, with exceptional examples bringing several $1,000s at major auctions. Rare, dramatic mint errors on high-grade coins can exceed these amounts when collector demand is strong. What happened next shocked collectors when registry set competition pushed prices for the finest certified examples dramatically higher. Since only a tiny number survive in the very highest grades with exceptional eye appeal, advanced collectors often compete fiercely whenever one appears on the market. If you're checking your own collection, begin by turning the coin over and looking for the large P above Monticello. Verify the weight if possible. It should be close to 5 grams. Examine both sides carefully under magnification for doubling, die cracks, clipped edges, or striking errors. Original surfaces and natural tunning are generally much more desirable than cleaned or polished coins. Be careful, however. Many people mistakenly believe that any discolored wartime nickel is valuable. Dark tunning, scratches, corrosion, or cleaning usually reduce value rather than increase it. Likewise, post-mint damage is often confused with genuine mint errors. Professional authentication is recommended for any coin that appears unusual or exceptionally well preserved. The value may leave you speechless, not because every 1943 p silver Jefferson nickel is a hidden fortune, but because the finest survivors and genuine mint error examples can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, while ordinary circulated examples remain affordable pieces of American history. Every coin tells a story, and few stories are as fascinating as a 5-cent piece that helped conserve strategic metals during World War II. So before you overlook that old gray nickel in your collection, take another look. Search your pocket change, inherited collections, forgotten bank rolls, coin albums, and family keepsakes. That wartime silver nickel sitting unnoticed for decades could be far more interesting and far more valuable than you ever imagined. And don't go anywhere, because the next coin in our series features an even more surprising minting mystery, one that has puzzled collectors for generations and turned an ordinary-looking coin into one of the hobby's most exciting discoveries. Next up, the 1940 Jefferson nickel, the overlooked 5-cent coin that could surprise every collector. Have you ever emptied a pocket full of change onto a table and ignored the nickels? Most people do. Pennies often steal the spotlight, silver coins attract attention, and old quarters spark curiosity. But the humble Jefferson nickel is usually the first coin people overlook. That may be one of the biggest mistakes a collector can make. Imagine finding a worn 1940 Jefferson nickel tucked inside an old coin album, hidden in a forgotten drawer, or resting quietly at the bottom of a family coin jar. At first glance, it seems ordinary. There is no flashy design, no silver shine, and no obvious clue that it could be worth more than 5 cents. But here's where things get interesting. Certain 1940 nickels possess hidden qualities that collectors eagerly pursue: remarkable preservation, fascinating mint eras, and subtle varieties that can dramatically increase their value. What happened next shocked collectors when pristine examples began bringing impressive prices at major auctions. This tiny detail could change everything. Before you spend another old nickel, stay with me until the end, because the story behind the 1940 Jefferson nickel may leave you looking at every 5-cent coin in a completely different way. The 1940 Jefferson nickel was struck during the second full year of the Jefferson series, which replaced the Buffalo nickel in 1938. The Philadelphia Mint produced this issue without adding a mint mark, so if your 1940 nickel has no mint mark to the right of Monticello on the reverse, that is exactly how it was made. More than 176 million examples were struck, making it a common date in circulated grades. However, the finest surviving examples are surprisingly scarce. Designed by Felix Schlag, the obverse features a detailed portrait of President Thomas Jefferson facing left. Around the portrait appear the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1940. The reverse showcases Jefferson's home, Monticello, with EPLUBUSUNUM above and 5 cents, and United States of America below. The elegant architecture and balanced design quickly made the Jefferson nickel one of America's most recognizable circulating coins. Most people never notice this, but the 1940 Jefferson nickel is not a silver coin. It weighs 5 grams, measures 21.2 millimeters in diameter, and is composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This composition remained standard until the wartime alloy change beginning in late 1942. Knowing this specification is important because claims that a regular 1940 nickel contains silver are incorrect. But here's where things get interesting. Even though millions were minted, collectors search intensely for genuine mint errors and exceptional strike quality. Among the most desirable are off-center strikes, clipped planchets, broad strikes, die cracks, struck-through errors, and dramatic lamination errors. Repunched mint marks do not apply to the Philadelphia issue because it carries no mint mark, but doubled dies have been identified on some examples. These authenticated varieties are much scarcer than ordinary circulation coins and can command significant premiums. One characteristic advanced collectors examine carefully is the strike. Jefferson's hair, especially above the ear, should appear crisp and well-defined. On the reverse, attention immediately turns to the steps leading up to Monticello. Coins displaying exceptionally sharp, full steps are highly prized because complete step details are difficult to find. This tiny detail could change everything. A coin with strong full steps designation often sells for many times more than a similar coin without it. Condition is equally important. Most surviving 1940 nickels spent years in circulation, accumulating scratches, worn details, and dull surfaces. Coins that retain blazing original mint luster with little or no wear are much scarcer. Professional grading services reward these exceptional survivors with higher grades, and collectors compete aggressively whenever one appears on the market. Auction records demonstrate how dramatically quality influences value. Ordinary circulated examples usually sell for only modest premiums above face value. Attractive uncirculated coins often bring tens of dollars. Certified gem examples with outstanding eye appeal can sell for several $100s. What happened next shocked collectors when superb full steps, examples graded at the highest mint state levels, realized prices reaching several $1,000s at major auctions. Those extraordinary prices are driven by extreme rarity in top condition rather than by the date alone. If you're checking your own collection, begin by confirming there is no mint mark on the reverse beside Monticello. Examine the coin under magnification, looking for original surfaces, strong strike quality, and any unusual mint-made characteristics such as doubling or die cracks. Pay particular attention to the steps of Monticello, since complete, uninterrupted steps are one of the most desirable diagnostics on early Jefferson nickels. Be cautious before assuming every unusual-looking coin is valuable. Cleaning, polishing, corrosion, environmental damage, and post-mint scratches generally reduce value. Many coins with flattened details are simply worn rather than rare. Likewise, damage caused after the coin left the mint should not be confused with genuine mint errors. Professional authentication is always recommended for coins that appear especially unusual or valuable. Collector demand for the 1940 Jefferson nickel remains strong because it represents the early years of one of America's longest-running coin series. Registry set collectors seek the highest certified grades, full steps examples remain fiercely competitive, and genuine mint errors continue attracting specialists who appreciate unusual pieces of minting history. The value may leave you speechless, not because every 1940 Jefferson nickel is worth a fortune, but because the finest known examples and authentic mint era coins can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars while looking surprisingly ordinary to the untrained eye. Sometimes, the biggest discoveries come from the coins people overlook the most. So before you spend another old nickel, search through your pocket change, inherited collections, forgotten coin albums, bank rolls, and family keepsakes. The next time you find a 1940 Jefferson nickel with no mint mark, don't dismiss it too quickly. A careful inspection could reveal a beautiful full steps example, a genuine mint error, or an exceptionally preserved survivor that collectors would be thrilled to own. And don't miss the next coin in our series, because we'll uncover another classic American coin with an even more remarkable story, one whose hidden variety has stunned collectors and turned an ordinary-looking piece of pocket change into one of the hobby's most exciting discoveries. Next up. 1941 Jefferson nickel, no mint mark. Could this ordinary 5-cent coin be worth much more than you think? Have you ever reached into an old coin jar, opened a forgotten family collection, or searched through loose change and wondered if one tiny coin could be hiding an incredible story? Most people would never look twice at a worn 1941 Jefferson nickel. After all, it's just 5 cents. Or is it? Every year, collectors search through thousands of these nickels, hoping to find one special example that stands far above the rest. While the average coin is common, a few remarkable survivors with exceptional condition or rare mint errors have sold for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. And that raises one fascinating question. Could one of those treasures already be sitting in your collection without you realizing it? Stay with me, because the history behind this famous coin, the tiny details that separate ordinary pieces from extraordinary ones, and the surprising auction prices achieved by the very finest examples, may completely change the way you look at your spare change. Story begins in 1941, just months before the United States entered World War II. The Philadelphia Mint produced more than 200 million Jefferson nickels that year without a mint mark, making it one of the most heavily produced nickels of its era. Because so many entered circulation, millions were spent in stores, carried in pockets, and exchanged every day across America. Today, worn examples remain relatively common, but here's where things get interesting. Although the date itself isn't rare, finding a beautifully preserved example that escaped decades of circulation is surprisingly difficult. Designed by Felix Schlag, the obverse features a detailed portrait of President Thomas Jefferson facing left. Around the rim are the words "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1941. Since this coin was struck in Philadelphia before the wartime nickel series began, there is no mint mark anywhere on the obverse. Most people never notice this, but that absence is completely normal for a 1941 Philadelphia issue. Turn the coin over, and you'll see Jefferson's famous home, Monticello, carefully engraved in the center. Above it appears EPLUBUSUNUM, while MONTICLLO, 5 cents, and United States of America complete the reverse. The coin measures 21.2 millimeters in diameter, weighs exactly 5 grams, and is composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel. Unlike the wartime nickels produced from late 1942 through 1945, this 1941 coin contains no silver. Collectors are especially interested in examples that display what specialists call full steps. On the reverse, the steps leading to Monticello should appear fully separated and sharply struck. Because the dies often wore quickly, Many coins show weak or incomplete steps. Coins certified with 5 or 6 uninterrupted steps receive the coveted full steps designation and can command dramatically higher prices. This tiny detail could change everything when it comes to value. Beyond condition, collectors also search for genuine mint errors. Off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, struck-through errors, die cracks, retained cuds, and dramatic die breaks are all legitimate mint mistakes that can increase collector interest. Double dies are also known on some Jefferson nickels, although strong examples are considerably scarcer than minor forms of machine doubling, which generally add little or no value. Because valuable errors are often counterfeited or misidentified, professional authentication is strongly recommended before assuming you've found a rarity. So how can you identify a potentially valuable 1941 nickel? First, verify that the date is clearly 1941 and that there is no mint mark, which is correct for Philadelphia. Next, weigh the coin. It should be very close to 5 grams. Examine the surfaces under good lighting for original mint luster, minimal wear, and strong detail. Then inspect the steps on Monticello with magnification. Sharp, uninterrupted steps combined with blazing luster and few contact marks can make an enormous difference in collector value. Auction results demonstrate just how important condition can be. Most circulated 1941 no-mint mark nickels sell for only modest premiums over face value. Attractive uncirculated examples commonly sell for tens of dollars depending on grade. Certified gems can reach into the hundreds, but what happened next shocked collectors. Superb examples graded at the very top of the condition scale, especially those with the coveted full steps designation, have realized several $1,000s at major auctions because so few survive in such extraordinary condition. Collector demand remains strong because Jefferson nickels are one of the most widely collected American coin series. Many hobbyists build complete date-and mint collections, while advanced specialists compete for the finest certified examples. Registry set collectors are especially willing to pay significant premiums for coins that combine exceptional preservation with outstanding strike quality. Most people never notice the subtle differences that experts look for. Small contact marks on Jefferson's cheek, dull luster, weak strikes on Monticello, or damaged surfaces can dramatically reduce a coin's value. On the other hand, vibrant original surfaces, crisp details, and fully defined steps immediately catch the attention of experienced collectors. These tiny details often determine whether a coin is worth a few dollars or thousands. Now comes the moment everyone has been waiting for. The value may leave you speechless. While the overwhelming majority of 1941 Philadelphia nickels remain affordable collectibles, the finest certified full steps examples have sold for several $1,000s at auction. Those remarkable prices reflect exceptional preservation, rarity in top grades, and intense competition among advanced collectors, not ordinary circulated coins. That's why careful examination and professional grading can be so important. So before you dismiss that old nickel sitting in a drawer, take a closer look. Search your pocket change, coin jars, inherited collections, old albums, and forgotten bank rolls. You may not discover a fortune overnight, but you could uncover a beautifully preserved piece of American history that collectors have been searching for. And if you enjoyed today's treasure hunt, don't go anywhere, because in our next video, we'll reveal another fascinating coin with a story that is even more surprising, and one tiny detail could make all the difference.